Good day. I am working on my wife's 2011 Ford Taurus SHO. I am changing the PTU, the power transfer unit oil. The odometer just rolled over the 40,000 mile mark, and the horror stories I heard, I figured I better get into it. Unfortunately, I have to confirm all of those horror stories. The sludge that I am pulling out of the transfer unit is quite concerning, and I will go into the details here as we go. Forgive me that I'm not starting off actually at the very beginning. I'm at the end of the removal process, and I'll go over what I've done so far and then apply the new fluid to the transfer unit. Basically, you remove the passenger side front tire, and I know you can't see it, but I'll zoom in here just a little bit. If you look at the center upper portion of the screen, you'll see the suction hose that I've got here. And if you go straight back in there, sorry for the shaking. I don't know if you can really see that in there, but basically there is a 3/8 ratchet type plug in there, just like you would on your average differential, same thing. And I just used a bunch of extensions, reached right through it. It goes in at a little bit of an angle, and if you hold in as you're turning, it comes right out. Here is the setup I used. Put that in there, and then I removed the drain plug. Now here's the concerning part. Here's the magnetic drain plug that I removed. Standard, straightforward thing. Now, I wish I would have taken a picture before. All of this gunk that you see here in the circle around where I've got this thing, that all was sludged on there. It's a combination of metal fragments as well as what's left over of the factory 75-140 oil. And not only did the sludge come out with the drain plug, on the opposite end, there was no real wet look to it, no oil. No, like when you would pull out your differential plug, you know, it's got some of the oil on it, like as if it splashed on it. The sludge is actually very dry. As you can see, there's very minimal sheen on it, and it wasn't very well lubricated, for lack of a better term here. But anyway, I then went and turned on my Mighty Vac. I have a Mighty Vac. It's a manual pump that I've modified. I bought this for 20 bucks while I was stationed in Germany off a guy who really, didn't like to do it. This is designed to hand pump out your crankcase. You can, run it down the dipstick tube and pull it out, and he didn't like the way it worked. I honestly didn't like the way the hand thing worked either. It took quite a bit of time. So what I did was I had an old air pump, air evacuation ejector that uses compressed air on the plug in there and creates suction. So I hooked this up to my compressor, fire it up, and it does an awesome job. Especially, I can get underneath the car. All I have to do is take the tons of tubing there, put it wherever I need it to go, and it'll pull out the oil. Now, not much came out. Let me see if I can get the plug out here. Sorry for the shaking. In here, that is what came out of the transfer case. Not only is there really not a whole lot, it's like black mud for the most part. So anyway, very concerning considering especially how expensive these cars are. I know they now have a drain plug and a fill plug on the 2013 and later, especially at least with the performance package, from what I've been told. This is just information I've gotten off the internet. And but at least it's simple and fairly straightforward. I didn't have to remove anything other than the tire, and realistically, if you have access to a lift, you probably wouldn't even need all that. Although the drain plug itself is very hard to get to, I found the extension method to work exceptionally well. And now is the easy part. I just have to fill it back up with the oil, which I just happen to have over here. And I'm using the Lucas Synthetic 75-140. I've had good luck with this so far, although realistically I've used Mobil 1 my entire life for oil, gear oil, everything else, and the synthetic stuff, especially the new gear oil with the limited slip added into it. I've never had any issues in any of my cars, and when I open up the differentials or have done a motor rebuild, they look really, really clean, and the wear has been kept to a minimum. For instance, my Aerostar van there in the background has 200,000 miles on it. I rebuilt the motor once, and the only reason, it's got the 4-liter all-wheel drive V6 setup in it, and I had to rebuild the motor because I cracked the head on it because of the heavy loads I was towing with it. And when I tore the motor apart, I had to take it to a machine shop to have the, just a hone done on the cylinders. And the guy at the machine shop said it was a real shame because he said it didn't even really need that either. But, got to do what you got to do. And I know I'm getting off topic here, apologize for that, but now I'm getting back to my vehicle, and I'm going to go ahead and put the oil back in. Like I said, Mobil 1 is what I've been using, and then, with real good results. However, the Lucas is something that I found is excellent as well. AMS oil, I would suggest. And, basically, you get what you pay for. With oil is no joke, and especially on something like this PTU, I've never seen such lack of forethought, maybe. Just I don't know what the engineers were thinking, but this thing gets extremely abused, and lifetime oil fill, my ass. There is no way that would have lasted a lifetime. Like I said, I've got 40,000 miles on this. Granted, it has been pretty abused from the fact that I've had this thing on the Autobahn, and my wife doesn't drive it that way, but when I'm getting behind the wheel, I mean, it's pedal to the floor, and we're doing exactly what this thing can do. And it has been pushed, as far as it goes. And with 40,000 miles on it, I am very, very disappointed with what I'm seeing so far. Not only was it not filled all the way to where I feel it would be appropriate, what's coming out is terrifying. But so anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and fill it up and put the plug back in it and carry on. I plan at this point to probably change or do this procedure, I'm thinking every 20,000 miles, and I will try to do a follow-up and once I get to that point, to see how the oil is looking at 20,000 miles. If that doesn't work to my satisfaction, then I'll go to 10,000 miles and down and so on. And if I need to every other oil change, I will do it, because this is, these are very expensive cars, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and I can't believe that the weak link in this whole all-wheel drive setup is going to be that little power transfer unit. But anyway, I digress. I'm going to get off my soapbox and put this thing back together so my wife can go do some grocery shopping or whatever other wonderful things she does on a Sunday afternoon. Take care. I hope this helps, and have a